don't know about you guys, but when I'm looking for a custom keyboard, I'm looking for a keyboard that not only has aesthetics, but one that has character to go along with it. And one company that does that and continues to nail their keyboards in this very aspect is GrayStudio. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but earlier this year, I dropped one of my favorite keyboard videos of all time, the Think6.5 V1. It was the first time I got a custom keyboard where it had interchangeable badges, and there is just an overall theme and feeling that went along with that board that I had never got with any other keyboard before. It was truly something special. Well, people started taking notice and the prices skyrocketed. So what did GrayStudio do? They came back with a V2 version of this keyboard. Not only have they decided to change the overall theme of the keyboard, but they've also made some changes under the hood as well that just takes the Think6.5 collection to a whole nother level. Now, the overall theme has changed, but there are some remnants of the old V1 with the little gear around the USB-C port. The original had this Think light bulb on the back and a 2U badge with the Think6.5 name on it. And what I loved about this is that they came out with a bunch of different colors for these badges and weights. So if one month you wanted to have a green keycap set, you could do that and then switch it out with a green badge. And if you wanted a pink setup the next month, you could just switch it out for a pink badge the following month. And this was just done with a couple of screws, so it was really convenient. Like I said, that was one of the things that really drew me first to the Think6.5. Now with this one, instead of a light bulb and the gears, they've decided to go with a sailing or ship theme. They have two different versions of this. One has a 1U badge up at the top in the shape of a compass. They also have another version of this keyboard that's a 2U that is near the middle right side of the outside of the keyboard. Now on the bottom side, instead of the light bulb, they now have an anchor. I still personally prefer the older look of the Think6.5 V1, but I like that they tried something new here. It's not just a rehash of the same design choice of the original, but it's like a continuation of the Think6.5 line. The case, like the name of the keyboard says it all, it's a 6.5 degree incline for the typing experience, and it's a 65% layout for the case. The one that I have has a polycarbonate top with a white aluminum bottom. The bottom is now tapered off instead of squared off like the original V1. I actually like this design choice a lot better than the original one. It just gives it a more sleek, sexy vibe to it in my opinion. And it's not just all blocky. Not only did the outside of the Think6.5 V2 change, but they also changed a lot under the hood now. On the original one, there was a lot of divide because it had an integrated plate. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. When I had no knowledge of other mounts, I was like, hey, this is pretty good. Then I tried a gasket mount. And then when I went back to it, I realized it definitely wasn't my favorite mount. So GrayStudio listened to the feedback and they put my favorite mount into this keyboard, the gasket mount. Not only that, now they're including an FR4 plate, which is on the softer side. So if you are used to brass, what you can expect is less of that pinging and ring sound that you would get from a metal plate. What's also really cool is GrayStudio just does these little things that nobody else is doing. These little design choices, like putting the word gasket mount where the mounts go on the plate. This is going to be extremely helpful if you're somebody that's never put gaskets on a plate before. Me personally, I do like to put them onto the case instead of the plate, so if I ever want to change out the plate, I don't have to buy extra gaskets or have to deal with that whole nonsense. I can just remove the plate and I'm done. Now you can really tell that they are focusing on sound because within this case they've included a foam cutout to go in between the PCB and plate, sucking up all that sound from the case, all that reverb and nasty stuff that could potentially go wrong in a metal case. So far, they've got the gasket mount combined with the FR plate, combined with the foam. And as you can imagine, this is already, without even dropping a sound test, this is gonna sound way better than the original V1 off top, no cap. So sticking with the theme of this keyboard, I thought to myself, what switches do I have that are purple or pink or maybe even just both? And I was like, wait a minute, I just did a review on the banana split switches from the Key Company. So it was a no-brainer for me. They've easily become one of my favorite switches for gaming, a little bit on the higher pitch side, but that's all right because they're ultra smooth and they're a great middle ground. They're linear switches, a great all-around typing experience. So definitely, if you haven't checked out those banana split switches, they are an amazing pickup. And I lubed them with some Krytox 205 grade 0 lube. And you know we had to hit them with the Duroc stabs, my favorite. So I just lubed up the inside of the housings and then I dipped and dunked the wires into that dielectric grease. My favorite way to do stabs, never fails me, always turns out smooth, sexy, sophisticated, all that good stuff. Now they didn't offer this in a hot swap like they did before, so I had to solder in the switches, making sure to keep everything flushed because of that layer of foam. You want to be really careful when soldering. You want to press down and hold down on the PCB as you are soldering, because you don't want your keys to be off centered, and then it's just, you got to resolder. It's just a whole mess. So just save yourself some trouble. Just make sure everything is flush before you start. And I'll be linking all of my soldering tools down below that I use. I've just gotten really good at this point at soldering, and it's miles ahead of where I started, but you guys got to start. I know a lot of you guys are scared when it comes to soldering, but guys, it's not that bad. You might suck at first. I know I did, but once you start soldering, you don't have to be perfect. All right, you can mess it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a perfect mound. It can be a half mound. Just as long as you solder and get solder into that joint, it's gonna be good. And there's some contact with the switch, you're good. So after soldering, it was just a breeze to make. Gasket mount, there's barely any screws that are needed. You just drop the plate onto those gaskets, nice and easy, no screws there. And then you just screw in the bottom of the case to the top of the case, making a little gasket sandwich, like I like to call it. So far so good. We've managed to match the switches to the case. Now we needed some keycaps to go along with it. Now I had been looking for this keycap set for what seemed like forever. The price just kept skyrocketing for these, and I've seen them go as high as $450 for a set, and it is the GMK Vaporwave. And now if you guys don't know, this is a purple and hot pink set with some teals on the mods. I do wish the pink kind of matched the compass a little bit more since it's so shiny and light, but that's all right. Maybe later on I can get a purple badge. That's the beauty of this keyboard, is that you can just make it however you want it, or I can have a teal one to throw in some contrast. That is the beauty of this Think series and what it has to offer. And then we've got the purple and pink aviator from Swift Cables. It just looks so sexy. Now are you guys ready for the sound test? Cause we're about to get sexual. Close your blinds, close your door, sit back and relax to the sounds of the Think6.5 V2 and let it take you away. Oh yeah, I gotta say, this keyboard blows the V1 out of the water when it comes to sound and feel. The gasket mount with the muted FR4 plate, the banana split switches were lubed and filmed. Everything just came together so nicely. GrayStudio has done it once again with this keyboard. It's out of this world in more ways than one. One thing I did notice is that near the top of the board, the keys were touching and rubbing a little bit when I did press them down, so I had to reseat the plate, and I haven't had any issues outside of that. Another thing that I'm experiencing now with a polycarbonate board with gaskets is that you can see those little gaskets around the outside of the keyboard. Some people might not like that. They might want a clean look. Me personally, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I'll gladly take the trade-off of having a keyboard that feels and sounds like this. Damn, I just love this keyboard. AirPodder, old cat. I say this time and time and again, I feel like a broken record at this point, but you guys know how to design some damn keyboards, and I am so happy to have this in my collection. So if you guys love this build, hit that thumbs up button, much appreciated. It has been your boy BT. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, fam. Peace.